a child, you can experience traumatic events that can affect for the rest of your life. To talk about this, let's welcome Kate to help us a better understanding of what ACEs is all about. Welcome, Kate.
Hey, good to be here.
Yes, we're so excited to talk about this point. And first, in first thing, what is ACEs and what does it stand for?
ACEs stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. And the original ACEs study, which was done back in the early 90s, defined ACEs really as 10 forms of adversity that may happen in a child's life. And there were 3 forms of physical abuse, 2 forms of emotional abuse and neglect, and then there were 5 forms of household dysfunction. But really, adverse childhood experiences are anything that can happen in a young person's life at a time when their brains are really developing. It's a critical period in their life that can have long-term impacts if things don't go well, if they don't have the sort of meaningful relationships connect at that time. And so this adversity really stands in the way of that, but those are adverse childhood experiences.
Yes, that's a very important point that you just mentioned it because, this affect the child, also the family completely, I believe. So can you give me some examples of ACEs?
Yeah, so any sort of, if a young person witnesses any sort of domestic violence in the home, there may be substance abuse going on in the home, any type of physical abuse, sexual abuse, any sort of neglect that's taking away from meeting a child's need. Those are all sort of things that are adversity that's really hard on a young person at that point in their life.
Yes, when they experience all these events, it can be traumatic for the rest of their life. So, of course, they have consequences. How we can help these kids, or how is the treatments to help them?
Well, I always say the cause and the cure are the same thing. So what really leads to these adverse childhood experiences are the most meaningful relationship in their life being harmed or severed at the most important time in their life. What can help a young person as they're growing older then? Finding a meaningful relationship. What these young people end up with is a life of not trusting the people around them. And so that they end up acting out in school. They end up having all sorts of challenges trying to make up for that. So that's where mentor programs are really valuable, connecting with anybody in a meaningful way where they can start to build trust with adults again is one of the biggest first steps. Without that, nobody's going to be able to teach them the sort of skills that they need to learn how to better regulate their emotions that get out of whack during these adverse childhood experiences, to help them overcome some of the other developmental issues that are part of these adverse childhood experiences. Relationship. And
relationship communication, of course. And so we can say that these child, so anyone affected by these can have hope if they leave ACEs. Of course, the time is flying here. Where we can find more information, and really quick, if you can tell me which areas do you cover?
So Hampton is one of them, and they're one of my favorites because they are big with this work. I see my emails on the screen and the phone number there. I will say yes to anything ACEs. So feel free to reach out by email or by phone, or contact my wonderful friends at Hampton. But we spread this information all over the state of Virginia.
And that's what it's all about. Like, I try to share the information with all Hampton Roads. Well, thank you so much, Kate. This is a great information, and I hope we can help, like I just say, be kind to one another and understand more about ACEs.
Well said. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.